Hi children, welcome to today's social science class. Children, in our last class, we are discussing about Rigveda. Today, I am going to explain about words to describe people, the story of the Megaliths, finding out about social differences, a special burial at Inamgaon. Words to describe people. There are several ways of describing people in terms of the work they do, the language they speak, the place they belong to, their family, their communities, and cultural practices. Let us see some of the words used to describe people found in the Rig Veda. There are two groups who are described in terms of their work: the priest, sometimes called Brahmins, who performed various rituals, and the Rajas. These Rajas were not like the ones you will be learning about later. They did not have capital cities, palaces, or armies, nor did not they collect taxes. Generally, sons did not automatically succeed fathers as Rajas. Two words were used to describe the people or the community as a whole. One was the word Jana, which we still use in Hindi and other languages. The other was wish. The word Vaishya comes from wish. You will learn more about. Several wish or Jana are mentioned by name. So we find reference to the Puru Jana or wish, the Bharata Jana or wish, the Edu Jana or wish, and so on. Sometimes the people who composed the hymns described themselves as Aryas and called their opponents Dasas or Dasyas. These were people who did not perform sacrifices and probably spoken different languages. Later, the term Dasa and Dasi come to mean slave. Slaves were women and men who were often captured in war. They were treated as the property of their owners, who could make them do whatever work they wanted. Silent Sentinels, the story of the Megaliths. Look at the illustration on the next page. These stone boulders are known as megaliths, literally big stones. These were carefully arranged by people and were used to mark burial sites. The practice of erecting megaliths began about 3000 years ago and was prevalent throughout the Deccan, South India, in the northeast, and Kashmir. Some important megalithic sites are shown on map 2, page number 14. While some megaliths can be seen on the surface, other megalithic burials are often underground. Sometimes archaeologists find a circle of stone boulders or a single large stone standing on the ground. These are the only indications that there are burials beneath. All these burials have some common features. Generally, the dead were buried with distinctive pots, which are called black and red ware. Also found are tools and weapons of iron and sometimes skeletons of horses, horse equipment, and ornaments of stone and gold. This type of megalith is known as cyst. Some cysts, like the one shown here, have potholes which could be used as an entrance. Finding out about social differences. Archaeologists think that objects found with a skeleton probably belong to the dead person. Sometimes, more objects are found in one grave than in another. Find Brahmagiri on map 2. Here, one skeleton was buried with 33 gold beads, 2 stone beads, 4 copper bangles. Other skeletons have only a few pots. These finds suggest that there was some difference in status among the people who were buried. Some were rich, others poor, some chiefs, others followers. Were some burial spots meant for certain families? Sometimes megaliths contain more than one skeleton. These indicate that people, perhaps belonging to the same family, were buried in the some place throughout not at the same time. The bodies of those who died later were brought into the grave through the portholes. Stone circles or boulders placed on the surface probably serve as sign spots to find the burial site so that people could return to the same place whenever they wanted to. A special burial at Inamgaon. Find Inamgaon on map 2. It is a site on the river Gond, a tributary of the Bhima. It was occupied between 3600 and 2700 years ago. Hence, adults were generally buried in the ground, laid out straight, with the head towards the north. Sometimes burials were within the houses. Vessels that probably contained food and water were placed with the dead. One man was found buried in a large four-legged clay jar in the courtyard for a five-roomed house, one of the largest houses at the site in the center of the settlement. This house also had a granary. The body was placed in a cross-legged position. Okay, children, let us wind up today's video, and this chapter is also over. Now you have to read this chapter and do given works. Thank you. Thank you to listening my class.